It's Friday, April 16th, 2021, and this is The Inbox with Greg Nibler. Hello, everyone. Yes, thank you for joining us. This is The Inbox. I am indeed Greg Nibler, part of 2Box Media at TWO Box Media, so hit subscribe wherever you're watching this. We do appreciate it. Now, you may notice we're not live today, and that's because we've got actually a really huge thing going on with 2Box Media over the next week or so, and we need all hands on deck. So, we're still going to be recording these episodes and getting them up for you. We'll be back live after about a week. Nonetheless, leave your comments on whatever platform you're watching, hit subscribe, share the show. Now, let's get you caught up to date on some things going on in technology, and maybe even give you a spoiler for something that's about to happen. So first off, as predicted here on Monday's episode of The Inbox, Apple has announced their spring event for new hardware. It's going to be called Apple Spring Loaded. Want to make sure I got that right. Spring Loaded. That is the name of this event. And here is what we expect. Now, we did give you a little bit of a preview on Monday. We think there's going to be some new iPads, an update to the iPad Pro, maybe a mini, possibly the new Apple AirTags, which we've been expecting for a while. And those are the things kind of like Tile, where you can track lost items. Not surprising. Every company's kind of working on those. Samsung's got some too. Here's something that did just happen today, though. We got kind of a leak from an anonymous Twitter account where they showcased what could be a third version of the Apple Pencil. So this is something that, if it does come to fruition, an updated version, it looks a little bit sleeker. No word on what the tech would be behind this, although we may have a clue in the actual event video that's been posted, which showcases some swirly lines overlaid some of the campus there for Apple. And my guess, this is my guess for this, is that it signifies something to do with some more augmented reality features. I would not be surprised about that. A lot of companies have been coming forward with new AR features. And to me, that's an area of technology that I am really excited about. So we could get that, but it's going to be happening here with just a few days. On Monday, when we do this show, I expect we'll have a little bit more of a preview. Check out the previous episode for more on the iPads and some rumors about them and maybe even some delays. So we've got all of that right there, but we do know the time. So Apple event taking place on Tuesday. Now, another thing that happened too was Samsung announced they have a Galaxy Unpacked event happening on April 28th. So a lot of hardware announcements in the next couple of weeks. That's always exciting, and I am looking forward to that. So there's your update as we know right now. Continuing on here, something else that Apple did was they took a shot at Spotify today, and that is part of this battling streaming service war that's going on between Spotify and Apple Music. They're both kind of the big ones. Spotify has the lion's share of subscribers, but Apple Music is coming up with their paid tier as well. And this is what they did. They announced that they will pay a penny per stream to artists who stream on their platform, who have music on their platform. That's a big announcement. Now, the money itself, you think 1 penny, 1 stream, that's actually more than what Spotify pays. Now, we don't know if that penny goes directly to the really confusing algorithm with how they pay people, and that's something that's been a big debate, a big topic that's been discussed. So now, usually an artist will get anywhere between 30 cents to, or excuse me, point 30 cents. There we go, to 0.50. So anywhere from a third to a half a cent for a stream, and that's what they've been doing. So it's certainly a shot at them for it. Spotify does not like to talk about how much money artists get paid, and it's definitely been a hard thing for musicians and artists in general. What with touring stopping, where a lot of the money comes from, and I guess they can sell merch, but now this changing way that the record industry has transitioned into doesn't make them a lot of money. So the more that they get paid, I think the better. And Apple is saying it's a penny per stream. Something else that was announced for all you video game fans out there who are probably hotly anticipating the release of Resident Evil Village on May 7th, you're going to get another shot to play it beforehand. And that is because on May 1st, they're going to drop a demo that will allow you to play 30 minutes of the game. And that's going to be across all the platforms. However, if you're a PlayStation 4 or PS5 user, you're going to get to try it out even earlier because it's going to be starting 2 different weekends. The next 2 weekends, actually, there's going to be a window of opportunity for you to preload it and actually try it out. So that's a big thing for PlayStation users. If you want to try out the new Resident Evil game, got to be one of the most anticipated video games in quite a while, at least this year so far. And you would expect that it'll be pretty phenomenal. If it's not, it's got some pretty high standards to reach. There's also a VR version that'll be out for that as well. But this is the big game that's coming out here this spring, and I want to know what people think about it. Are you excited about a new Resident Evil game? Generally speaking, I think most people are, but maybe you're not. Maybe there's something you can contribute to this to let us know about it. So that's Resident Evil Village. You can try it out if you are a PlayStation member ahead of everybody else when it's coming up on May 1st. That's happening this weekend and next weekend, this window to play 30 minutes of the game. Pretty cool at what they've got going right there. All right, continuing on here, again with a quick news update for you. This is something else that was announced. If you want to buy a flying car, I know a lot of people out there do. I kind of do. I like the idea of it. Well, now you have your opportunity to put a down payment on one. For $5,000, you can put a down payment on this flying car called Aska. And Aska is Japanese for flying bird. So they announced this line. It's from a company called NFT. I kid you not, it's called NFT, not like the digital artwork. They're probably not happy about that name configuration, but nonetheless, NFT is the name of the original company. So Aska is this. Looks kind of like a large SUV, has 4 passengers, has a 50-foot wingspan. It's also an electric vertical takeoff and landing, which means it takes off straight up, and then you can fly for about 250-mile range. It's got 150-mile-an-hour top speed. The wings fold up. It does only need 65 feet of space all around it in order to land, so that kind of opens up for a lot of places. That's definitely not a tiny backyard, but nonetheless, if you have any amount of land, then you would be able to use it. It's got 6 propellers powered by 6 batteries and also has dual gas motors to make sure that they stay charged. And you would think that if one of the batteries goes, hopefully the other 5 will continue operating. And this whole thing that they're going for is the idea of commuting while living outside of a city. So say somebody wants to work in a city, but they want to move out to a rural area. This would be the way they could do that. They could take off, get closer into town, and then drive on in with that range, keeping that in mind of 250 miles. So this is a big move in the flying car industry. There's a lot of other ones that are out there. This could not come to fruition, but they did open up this showroom in Silicon Valley for you to go there. Now, $5,000 is not going to get you too far into buying one of these, because when they first come out, and it's in 2026, it's going to be $789,000. That's how much these are going to cost at first. They think they can get that price to half, which still is a lot of money. Their idea is you can buy a home for cheaper out in the country, and then it'll save you all that money from buying something in the city. That's kind of one of their marketing pushes on this. But I want to know who's interested in this. Is this something you would want to get into? Would you want to fly in one of these? Is that something that you would want to try out? I personally love this idea. I would want to take it maybe out camping or something like that, although then you have people taking these into the woods. That's probably not going to end well for nature, so maybe scratch that idea. But I like the idea of hopping into my own eVTOL and just like taking off and ending up somewhere else. We'll see how prevalent these come out. It's estimated, though, that this industry could be billions of dollars within the next 10, 15 years. There's a lot of regulations to figure out, but this is their push for that. Like I said, a lot of other companies are trying it too, so we'll see how far it gets. But that is what you can do now. Put down $5,000 for your own Aska flying car. All right, finally, speaking of flying vehicles, we have this. This is a leak that's happening right now, although by the time you watch this, it could have already been announced. And it has to do with NASA saying they're announcing which company or companies they're going to be using to create the human lander when they go back to the moon as part of the Artemis mission. Now, there's a bunch of companies that have bid on this, including Blue Origin and SpaceX, Blue Origin being owned by Jeff Bezos. But the word is that it's only going to be one company getting the funding for this, and it is SpaceX with Starship. That's a big win for SpaceX. If the Starship program is the solitary one that gets this instead of even a backup, and that was the thought, was maybe they'd have one as the primary, one as the backup, and maybe Blue Origin. But this is a big loss for Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin if they did not get this. If SpaceX is indeed the proprietor of bringing humans back to the moon as far as the vehicle, that's a huge day for Elon Musk and SpaceX in general. So that's what's anticipated. Now the Starship also is going to be maybe doing a test launch for the SN15 sometime in the next week. So something to look forward to in the next few days. So far, they've exploded. A lot of them have exploded. So we'll see if that's maybe something they can overcome. That's all part of the testing process. No humans are going up in these tests, but they do need to start ramping it up pretty quick. There's some missions that are going to be allegedly taking people around the moon. I auditioned, by the way, for the Dear Moon Project. Dear Moon Project, I would love to be one of the people that goes around the moon when that happens. But nonetheless, this is a huge day for SpaceX and gets us one step closer to getting everything together to bring people back to the moon as part of the Artemis project with NASA. So pretty cool. So there you go. Quick rundown on some topics. We've got a lot next week, though. There is so much happening. I mentioned the Apple event, spring loaded. That's going to be huge. Whatever it is they announce, anytime Apple does something, it's big. You've got Samsung that following week. You also have another SpaceX launch next week, sending people back to the International Space Station. So that's all just in the next week from now, minus Samsung on April 28th. And there's bound to be lots more. Companies are starting to come out with more hardware. It's exciting. And I want to know what you think about all of this. Please leave a comment. Let us know. Share this show. Quick update on tech. And I will be back on Monday with another one to talk about what's happened over this last weekend, or this coming weekend, if you will, and give you a preview of that Apple event, a bigger one in depth for what's coming up for that too. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibler. Hit subscribe, share the show. Please let other people know about it. Send us an email anytime, info@2boxmedia. Write me on Twitter @Greg Nibler, @2boxmedia. Leave a comment on this video, wherever it is you're finding us. Thank you for doing so. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday with more of The Inbox.